Welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak
Up.
and Bebo.
Up.
Bebo.
Today we will be discussing and reviewing the movie Little Rascals from 1994. Mikey the Freak, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
I just love your look, Bearded Freak, Bearded Geek. You just like you look at it like Little Rascals.
Yeah.
Like stare like, oh my God, we got to do this.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So we picked a children's favorite. We've only done a couple. Technically, I think Sandlot is probably the only kid-friendly type movie that we've really picked. That off the top of my head. So let me go over the plot synopsis. So of the Little Rascals, it's 1994, so mid 90s. The director is Penelope Spheris, which also directed Wayne's World and the Beverly Hillbillies. So two good movies from Penelope if you want to check those out. So the plot synopsis, based on a classical theatrical Our Gang short subject series, the sanctity of the He-Man Woman Haters Club is threatened when one of the most respected members, Alfalfa Switzer, falls in love with, of all things, a girl, Darla Hood. Oh my God. It's up to Alfalfa's pal, Spanky McFarland, to set his pal straight before Alfalfa's indiscretions jeopardize the club's chances of winning the big go-kart race in a few weeks. So that pretty much sums up the entire movie. Like I said, I picked this movie this week. My son, he's 11 years old, Connor, he loves this movie. I think this movie is very the target audience is 12 and under. It's very difficult for me to watch it nowadays compared to when we watched it back then. But it's the group of, literally when I was looking at the IMDb, and it's pretty interesting that for the age these kids were, it was basically, it came out in 1994, but they were probably filming in 93, give or take, usually a year before it comes out, or maybe a few months, depending on the theatrical release. These kids were 4 and 5 and 6 years old. And it's crazy how difficult I've heard that it is to work with a 4-year-old. If anyone has kids, it's difficult to work with a 4-year-old in life. Imagine trying to have them remember like scripts and their lines and how they're supposed to look and how they're supposed to act. Unreal. So I kind of like the movie for that part of it. But yeah, a fun movie. Spanky's character, this kid Spanky McFarland, he's so serious. So coming out in the movie, and they have their little meeting, this women haters club, He-Man Women Haters Club. He's the president of this club, and he's so just straight up like, okay, what's the matter at hand? What do we have to do? Like, I'd say professional, so grown up at his demeanor and his attitude in this movie. So that's always something to where you kind of latch on to some of these kids, and kind of see like, man, I'm that kid when I was his age, or I'm that kid when I was his age. When I was 8 years old, I was probably Alfalfa. I was a nerd when I was 10 and under, and you can agree. Both of you can agree.
I do not agree. I do not agree. I think you're more of a Froggy.
and Connor loves the character Froggy. He loves his voice, and I was like, man, I bet his voice hurt by the time he was done filming this damn movie. That's that low type voice. So they were very adult acting kids. So I think that's kind of what some of the adults this day and age, if they were to watch it, they kind of can attach themselves to. So it might be why they enjoy it. But the cool thing they have, we talked about the go-kart race. Towards the movie, there's these two bullies that actually steal their original go-kart called the Blur. because it's supposed to be the fastest go-kart out there. And it's never lost. So they steal it, they paint it, change the colors. So they're like, well, we don't have another go-kart. We have to build one. So we have to come together as a group. And Darla got in between Alfalfa and Spanky, and it kind of tore their friendship apart. So towards the end of the movie, they kind of get their friendship back together. They work together to create this new go-kart, and then end up winning the race by his alfalfa sprout.
That is true. That is
And
true. Yeah.
so yeah, so some funny parts. One of the funny part of the movie, and I want to say this before I pass it over to Bebo, is Buckwheat's mom is played by Whoopi Goldberg in the movie. There's a lot of cameos throughout this movie, but it's funny. They're going up to the race, and and Buckwheat says, turns to I think it was Porky, and says, "Hey Buckwheat, mom, or hey Porky, my mama's here." And he goes, "Whoopi."
Yeah.
And they look, and it's like, it's Whoopi.
It's Whoopi. It's Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cute. It is a cute movie, and you know, from opening to closing, it's always a cute movie. But that kind of goes through most of it. So Bebo, tell me what you thought of the movie and kind of your synopsis.
It sucked.
Perfect. I love it. Love the transition. Dick.
Yeah,
I just build it up and you just crash that shit down.
Yeah, I'm destroying it just like they burned down the clubhouse. Okay, I'll burn down the movie.
Make that shit early. Movie over. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Fucking credits. No, the movie itself, if you are like a 4 or 5-year-old, you may like the movie.
Yes.
It was extremely hard for me to watch this movie. I haven't seen it probably since it came out. But it was so hard to watch this movie. I'm not gonna lie, there were times I was sent that little 10-second, fast forward button. I was just like, nope.
Is it done? Is it done? Is it done?
Nope.
How many seconds in a minute? Okay, here we
go. It was just really hard to watch. Now, I mean, mind you, they are extremely young kids. And even the one of the notes I had here said that the director found it very hard to work with the kids. And it wasn't the fact that they were kids, it's just that they were so young, they had a lot of trouble getting their lines out the way they were supposed to be, saying them correctly. And just watching it, I would say probably the best, shitty this sounds, the best acting by one of those kids was, one of the best actings by one of the kids was actually Spanky. I felt like he actually, got through his lines. He was very... my favorite thing about the character of Spanky in this, or the acting of the kid who played Spanky in this movie, was at the very beginning when he walks in after they introduce, and he's like, "You're president," and he walks in, he's like, "How are you? How are you?" Like an actual president. He's shaking the hands of all his constituents.
He learned that from Trump.
Yes. who was in the movie? Go figure. But it was. I mean, I'll put it this way for anybody who's thinking about watching this movie who doesn't have a 4 or 5-year-old, the best acting was done by Petey the dog.
I did love the dog. I did love the dog.
The dog was good.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the dog, don't know I could have made it through the whole movie. It was just such a bad movie. I did like the cameos in it. There were a lot of people in it, but just the movie wise itself was such pain in the ass to get through.
Hour and 20 minutes at least, not 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah. What'd you think, Bear Geek?
Well, I mean, I was just there visiting with Connor and Mikey the Freak and all that, and then I come home and I have to watch this movie, and I'm watching it, and about 5 to 10 minutes in, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? I'm like, I mean, it was bad. I'm like, and I knew this movie was coming up, and I knew
Yep.
that I was gonna have to get through this, and I knew I was gonna destroy this movie because this movie was bad. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
And I did not remember it as being this bad.
Oh my
When
god!
we watched it in the
Yeah,
90s.
exactly.
And I
It's like, wow.
I
Unreal.
understand that you're working with 5 and 6 year olds or sometimes maybe 4 year olds, but and it's hard to get through the movie. Well, don't fucking make the movie.
Just quit. Just give up.
Just cancel
Just pay
the
them
movie.
and say,
Yeah.
here's your severance package.
Movie
Go
canceled.
home. Go back to school.
Yeah. You know what? Here's a little scholarship fund. Something. Just don't make the movie. That would have been better than to actually have to watch the movie. It was a slog. It was just a slog to get through. I couldn't. I didn't think to use the 10-second fast forward. Sometimes I
Damn it.
yeah. Sometimes I felt like I was doing the 10-second fast forward because they did the speed up scenes. They did
When they would run.
Yeah, they did the cheesy special effects with alfalfa and the bubbles, and then you got to make a bubble fart. I mean, it's just
The comedy was very stale
dry.
and boring and one of
Yeah.
those inside jokes you gotta have to get it, and it's like, yeah, that wasn't very funny. Okay.
I can
I
tell
get it.
you the exact moment I was truly honestly regretting having to watch this movie.
Opening
I
credits.
hadn't watched it yet. No, I hadn't watched it yet. And anybody who's followed our videos, anybody who's watched our vlogs, podcast, whatever you want to call it, know that we absolutely dissed the absolute shit out of the movie Mac and Me. And when and when I knew that I was in just for a mountain of suck is when I looked at my phone and there was a message from the Bearded Geek that said, "This movie is starting to rival Mac and Me." And I was just like, oh, fuck. I was just like, I literally was like, should I just try to go into the podcast remembering what I can of the movie? Like, should I actually have to sit there and watch it?
No,
And here's
you
the
can't.
sad
There's
part.
no way.
Well, here's the sad part. I am the reason I don't have my usual background and stuff like that on this video is I'm house sitting for my parents who are out of town, and they left at 2:30 last night or this morning, however you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go back to sleep. I watched this movie at 2:30 this morning.
And I have nightmares now.
I've never been so deeply depressed in my life.
Was there really
Then sitting there as a 40-year-old man at 2:30 in the morning with 3 dogs in the bed watching the fucking Little Rascals from 1994. Okay,
Did you
I'm
have
just going? This is
Did
just
you have
sitting there
bad
going,
acting in your dreams or something?
dude. I literally was just sitting there. I'm like, this is my life. I'm done. Just end it now. Fucking credits.
Yeah.
It was just.
It was.
And I'm watching the movie the entire time, just like, is it fucking over yet?
Yeah. And these are our early on impressions without giving you our our ratings.
Actual ratings.
Please
You know
wait
where
for
we're
the
going.
rating.
Yeah. I wonder what this movie is gonna get.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of rating this movie is getting just by going off the stuff that we were saying now.
Yeah. We just berate the entire movie the entire time. What's your rating? 9.9.
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
10.
10. I give it a 10. A fucking 10.
All right. Since we did mention ratings, I'll go ahead and just give my rating on it. I do give it above Mac and Me.
Yay!
I do give it above Mac and Me. I will give this movie a 1.
What?
A 1. This movie was bad, and the only thing that saved this was it had Mel Brooks as a cameo and Leah Thompson. And Mel Brooks and Leah Thompson as a cameo. If it was that, it could have got a 0.5. That's, I mean,
The extra 0.5 for the Bearded Geek is simply because
cameos.
Back to the Future makes Spaceballs in one movie.
Exactly. See, you get it. You get it. No, I mean, yeah, it's a 0.5. I could not get through this movie without cursing a little while I'm watching it. See, it was bad. Let's see. Bebo, why don't you go ahead and give your rating on it?
I would say based off of the acting, I'm gonna give it a 0.01.
The pause. The pause was awesome. And the pause.
I
Like,
would like to give this movie. If I had to give it a rating out of a 0 to 10, it would be definitely a 0.01. This movie is like a speck of sand above Mac and Me.
I'll round that up to a
Fan.
0.5. We're not going to do
fan.
0.2s and 3s. We're going to go half.
I didn't say 0.2. I said 0.01. Okay, that's
You're
how
giving
low
it
this
a
was.
half. It is a
fine.
half.
It's a half.
I'm giving it a half, but I'm being forced to, people. Okay, this is how shitty this movie is. Okay, when
We're not
I'm
on
being
a
forced by the
decimal
other
system.
members of this particular podcast that I have to up my rating, I'm pissed off. Okay.
Mikey, how about you, man? What are you going to give this?
Yeah,
Be honest.
Bro, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat you are. I'm giving it a 1. Just because I'm giving half to Leah Thompson and half to Mel Brooks. I mean the cameos were awesome, but there's a lot of actors in there that played the moms and like Reba McEntire, like Whoopi Goldberg, Daryl Hannah, and Mel Brooks and Donald Trump. Shit, our president, our old president's in there. Holy shit. But I lost a half a point with that one. So I did give it a but I am giving it a 1 just because the acting and like we said, they're kids. The oldest kid was Alfalfa. He was 9 years old. Buckwheat was he was 9 and Buckwheat was 8. And then everyone else was 4 to 6 years old.
Listen,
so the acting was terrible.
I don't care how old Darla was. I wanted to punch her in the face. Like she was. Her acting was.
What about
so
the kid?
Bad.
Donald Trump's kid. It looked like a little mini Carrie Elways.
Yeah, it kind of did.
That kid looked like a Carrie Elways and Macaulay Culkin
had a baby.
A baby.
Yeah.
That would have been that kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Darla's acting was so bad. I don't. She was 4 or whatever. I still want to, maybe not a hard punch, but just a little jackrabbit, just something. Yeah.
We do not condone beating kids.
No.
Just want to say that we do, guys. We do not condone beating your kids.
I kid.
Beat your friends' kids.
I joke.
So we don't know Darla. He punched the screen several times, though. Hope she felt it. I hope you felt it, bitch.
That poor kid is 31 years old right now going, it still fucking hurt.
Yeah, she could probably whip my ass right now, but
yeah. But yeah, solid 1. Sorry, solid 1 on that part.
Gotcha. Biba, do you have any interesting facts for this movie?
So trivia wise, there's a couple of things here. The one thing I did find is that for those of the original Little Rascals who were still alive, some of the surviving cast members of the original Little Rascals were actually upset that they were not asked to participate in the movie. However, I do know that the producers actually wanted the original Little Rascal star George Spanky McFarlane to participate in the film. And they had it set up, I believe, for him to do it, but he actually died during pre-production. One of the things I was going to bring up, Mikey already said, which is right before the race, Buckwheat acknowledges that his mom's there, and Porky goes, "Whoopee," and then you see that it's Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Reba McEntire, who plays AJ Ferguson, who's supposed to be like the best racer in the world for the kids. When she introduces the go-kart race and says, "Welcome to the 73rd annual go-kart race," that's actually a nod and a throwback to the original title of the Little Rascals, which was in 1921. So when it was filmed and stuff like that, it was the 73rd year of that.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. I think that is pretty much everything I really had. The rest of it was Not worth mentioning, much like the fucking movie.
I got some retro memorabilia here. You could get on a vintage 1994 the Little Rascals Pog set. If you remember
Pogs.
Pogs.
I
Wow.
love Pogs. Well,
Or-
that's a name you don't hear anymore.
No.
You could get what is it?
Pogs.
10 of them for $10. So there you go, some Pog. Then you have a promo card set, The Little Rascals, 1994 movie, Coca-Cola exclusive. There's 8 of these cards. You can get them for $30, basically, $29.45. And then the last piece of memorabilia is a Little Rascals giant size movie poster, one sheet, rare, not folded,
Rare.
52 times 75. 52 by 75. So that is a big poster. Yeah, for the Little Rascals, for that one Little Rascals fan out there, I'm sure that they'll enjoy it.
The one.
Yes, the one. The one. Not even the kids in the movie. I don't think they like it, but just one.
They've forgotten they made that movie
Yes.
already.
Mikey the Freak, we are introducing a new segment. How about some... I forgot what we called the segment.
Oh my god.
Retro.
Holy shit.
And credits.
And yes,
And credits. And that's all the time we have.
How about you introduce your new segment, sir?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that a boy. It's called Related Reels.
There we go.
There you go. There you go. So related reels. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking some of the actors from the movies, and I'm going to be mentioning some of their previous work or some of the work after they made that movie. So that we're going to still try to stay in the 80s and 90s time frame. But a lot of times they haven't made movies in that, that might have been the only movie they made in the 80s. So we're kind of going to mention some of the stuff they do now and whether it could be a watch to look at them in another movie, or something to be like, well, that's really all they have, and that's all they're related to. So it's basically movies on some of the actors, so you can guys see something else, right?
Recommendations. It's like a recommendation,
exactly. Exactly, yeah. So with some of the we have cameos in this movie, so I'm not going to go through all the cameos. We kind of done that already in the movies that they're in. We're kind of going to focus on the main characters in the movies that we discuss. So I kind of want to start with Mary Ann, which she plays Darla's friend. She's the brunette in the movie. She's played by Juliette Brewer. She actually plays cousin Ruby in Vegas Vacation.
Oh, okay.
So that I thought that was pretty interesting. I love Vegas Vacation. I forgot about that character. She's one of the ones in the in the desert. So you'd have to watch it to kind of pinpoint which one she is. Because again, Vegas Vacation is 10 years, give or take, after that movie. And then we've got Jane, which is the other Darla's friend. She's the blonde. Her name is Heather Karasek. She is actually in the costume department now in Hollywood, and she's done movies like Insidious and Birds of Prey.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool with her now. But a lot of the kids actors with Alfalfa, Spanky, and those characters are those actors. They really have not done anything since then. There's small stuff here and there, some voiceover work for some of the kids, but nothing major. There's no major, A-list movies that these kids have been in after that. So it pretty much ruined their career. You like that segment? That was good. That was good. So, but I do want to mention some of the cameos, which are kind of cool. George Wendt from Cheers was in there. Leah Thompson, Back to the Future, of course. Reba McEntire, Daryl Hannah, Whoopi Goldberg. We talked about Mel Brooks. A-list celebrities. Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, right out of Full House. same time frame. And even we talked about Donald Trump. I don't know if you've ever seen him or heard of him before. So so it's one of those. There's a bunch of cameos, but that's it. That kind of closes out my segment.
Awesome.
I look forward to the next movie and seeing if you guys want to watch something else with the same actors.
Awesome. So I do believe that does it for this week's episode of Back to the Retro Review. So for Mikey the Freak and Bebo, I am the Bearded Geek saying, keep it retro, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.